Peace, 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 peace. Everybody, welcome to ANU Improve. I'm El Karar, you know what I'm talking about. And we are back again on another adventure, on another journey, you know what I'm talking about. And we keep it on, going on, painting on the train, you know what I'm talking about. So, we're continuing the series of Nomad Empire, right? And we are in part 5, and it's called Blood of My Blood. Of course, I got this from Game of Thrones, because of the simple fact, you know what I'm talking about. The Dothraki were, inspired by a little bit of Mongol culture, which you can tell. So, of course, it's amalgamated in many different cultures, but one of them is Mongols. Okay, so I just took that concept and rolled with it. You know what I'm talking about? Roll with it. Anyway, so peace. Let me keep eating and peace, little fire starter. You know what I'm talking about? And so we gonna continue on with that. You know what I'm talking about? So here we go. All right. Peace, Master Manlet. All right. So as you can see. Okay. So in the 1150s, Esugei was in alliance with Cthulhu, but he had his own goals and ambitions, and for this reason often disobeyed his overlord. Esugei's key idea was to rise higher in the Mongol hierarchy. He should ally himself with the Kurate leader Togrul. The name means girl falcon. Who needed allies since his position was under constant threat from his kinsmen. So, already, like last round, we sort of ended out talking about Esugei, who is Genghis Khan's or Temujin's father, and I alluded to the point that he do some hood stuff. Like, look, Esugei is going, he about that work. You know what I'm talking about? But this is during the time, when the Mongols are on a fine line as a united tribe. And as you can see, you have Esugei, who's not I would say a important chieftain, but nevertheless, he still is important as far as the unification goes, in a sense, with his own sub tribe, right? But he has ambitions of rising up, and he ain't gonna get there with his own peoples. So what he does is he allies himself with the Kirates. You know what I'm talking about? And one is Togrul, aka Ongkhan, ONG Han. But Ongkhan, you know what I'm talking about, aka Togrul. Same person, all right? Just so you know. You know what I'm talking about? So now, Togrul had a difficult life. At the age of 7, he had been captured by the Mirkids, enslaved and made to grind millet with mortar and pestle. He was rescued in a raid by his father, but 6 years later, he was again enslaved, this time along with his mother by the Tatars. Okay, so when Togrul gets enslaved, because this happens. He was enslaved by the Mirkids, right? And his father gets him out. He goes and gets his son, but then later he gets enslaved again, and it's alluded to the reason why he gets captured or enslaved is because somebody's snitching among the Kurates. Somebody's betraying him, and it may be one of his siblings. You know what I'm talking about? Which he does have. So maybe one of his siblings that's snitching on him. That way he's always really being uh captured and enslaved. You know what I'm talking about? So peace, Aki Darren. You know what I'm talking about? Peace, ANU Radio, and peace, South Harbor. Okay. So that's what's happening. Somebody snitching. Somebody snitching and whatnot. So, grown to adulthood, he acclaimed as leader of the curates, but immediately came under pressure from his two jealous brothers. Torgel decided to eliminate these pretenders to his position, but the two escaped and sought refuge with Toktua Beke, the principal Merkik Han. So this is key. You know what I'm talking about. So his siblings, you know what I'm talking about. He hasn't, they are fractured. So they fight each other, but Togru comes out on top, and then his siblings, go with the Mirkets, right? And then what also happens is that Toktua basically ransom off his siblings back to Togru. Ain't no loyalty, you know what I'm talking about? Ain't no loyalty at all. You know what I'm talking about? But that's what happens. They go seek refuge with the Americans. The Americans end up betraying them and be like, hey, yo, you want your man's here? All you gotta do is just pay us. You know what I'm talking about? And you get it going. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. So this was the prepossessing individual Yashigo chose to ally himself with against the strong and vociferous opposition of Cthulhu, who rightly argued that the policy was dangerous folly. At the very time, the Borgids' opposition with Mongol ranks from the Taichus, it made no sense to become inveigled into the politics of the correct realm. So he already, you know what I'm talking about, is already getting, basically orders from the Khan, like, yo, don't be messing with them corrects. Don't get involved in their politics. We already got problems with the Thai troops. They trying to break away. We don't need, we need to be solid and firm. And here you is, trading favors with some other tribe. It ain't gonna go down like you think it's gonna do now. If the stone crack, you will crack with it. 10 Commandments. Anyway, but yeah, so he already, getting, yo, don't do that from, Cthulhu. But he don't listen to that. He don't listen to that at all. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man. So, okay, here is a music. I'm not about to play this one because I know it's gonna get copyrighted. But I put it in the link in the description for you to listen to later. It's talking about the Hunnu Empire or the Shanyu Empire or the Hun Empire. You know what I'm talking about. So whenever you got time, you can just listen to it. I just put it in there as a mental marker so I can, put it into the slide. But yeah, it's a nice throat singer song. But it talks about the Hunnu Empire though. So Esugei was unmoved and even went through the ceremony of Anda, roughly blood brotherhood, with Togru. For 7 years, Togru was forced to roam the frontier lands as a minion of the Jin. Finally, when he and Esugei were strong enough, they invaded Kirate territory and overthrew the regime there, forcing Togru's uncle to flee west for sanctuary to the Tangut realm of Sisha, the northwestern corner of modern China. So what happened was that, when he, basically killed the siblings, Togru, when he killed the siblings, his uncle was in opposition. He was like, nah, man, that's wrong. You know what I'm talking about? And then his uncle was liked among, the curates. And so he stood to, be a leader. But at first his uncle had the upper hand and chased him out of the key rates. But then basically with Esugei's help, they was able to come back and take his uncle out of power, and then he ended up being on the run. Like I say, it's some other things going on. You know what I'm talking about? But shalom, Achoti Yafe. So yeah, there's some hood things going on, and you can see a lot of set tripping. You know what I'm talking about? But the ceremony of being an Anda or blood brother is very, very important, especially when it comes to this part of the series, because that's really what is alluded to. You know what I'm talking about? How this blood brotherhood formed an alliance. Because this blood brotherhood will take effect historically, even among the time of Genghis Khan. You know what I'm talking about? When he gets older, into adulthood. Thus, Temujin's father, Esugei, had no kinship tie with the Kirates, but he had once been the Anda of Onkon, and they had fought together against many enemies. The tie between the men had been stronger than merely patron and vassal, because when they were quite young, Esugei helped Onkon become Khan of the Kirate people by overthrowing his uncle, the Gur Khan, or supreme ruler. So it goes into what's going on. So in addition, they have fought together against the Mirkit and were allied at the time of Temujin's birth, when Esugei was on the campaign against the Tatars. So this was a relationship that continued even during the time of Temujin's birth. So, being a blood brother, saying, it's not done today, but there was the time where even over here we did the whole we're blood brothers. You pick your sort of before my time, but you pick your dang on finger, prick your dang on finger, and then you put your blood together. How would blood brothers fly? That comes from my girl, but but that actually did happen. But I would say once the viral threat of AIDS happened, that's when that was shut down. You know what I'm talking about? But Peace Chief, this sounds like a hood website. Look, it is. Let me tell you, man, it is a hood web series, and we gonna keep on going on because there's a lot of good things. Like I said, a lot of good things that's going on. But yeah, for sure, it really is mine. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, so that's what's happening. They are raging war, amongst the Kirates, and then they go and campaign against the Tatars. And the Tatars, are very powerful, but don't mean they can't get one up. You know what I'm talking about? So it happens. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. According to steppe culture, politics was conducted through the idiom of male kinship to be allies. Men had to belong to the same family, and therefore every alliance between men not connected through biology had to be transformed into ceremonial or fictive kinship. So this was a part of the culture, you know what I'm talking about, but it gave you like more allies and strength, even if you weren't bound by blood. You know what I'm talking about? You were a part of you can say, spiritual family. This man is my blood brother. He's part of my spiritual family. Therefore, me and him have a kinship now. You also see the same thing. Another ceremony like this is ceremony of in the Peach Garden, with Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. You know what I'm talking about? They do the same thing. We are brothers, even though we are not born on the same day. We choose to basically die on the same day. We weren't born on the same day, but we promised to die on the same day. Even though it didn't happen, but they take an oath of brotherhood. All three of them. So that's another example of that. You know what I'm talking about? So yes, you know. But Esugei's foolish involvement in Kuwait politics did not complete the tally of his idiocy. He displayed his complete lack of political nous by starting a feud with the Mirkids too. Two issues are selling here. Okay, so we about to get into this other hood issue where he started with the Mirkids. Now, mind you, the whole thing with Togro enslavement. Look, it happens. But you probably say it's been squashed. It's been squashed. But this is a whole new issue that's about to go down. You know what I'm talking about? Faith created by creating or created by imagination. I had to look that one up. Yeah, well, you could already from the root word faith, you could already, based on wording, you can already know it's imaginary, illusionary. You know what I'm talking about? It's there, fiction. Another example, but yeah. So the Mongols practice exogamy and would travel long distances to find a suitable wife. But we're not averse to stealing women, even other men's wives or betrothed, if the opportunity presented itself. Okay, so exogamy is when you travel long distances and you marry outside your tribe or your clan. Okay, that's what it means. In some shape or form, we've all done it in a sense. What I'm talking about? We've all done it in a sense. What I'm saying? So, yes, we've all done it. What I'm saying? So that's what exogamy is. And so this is what Mongols practice, exogamy. What I'm saying? Going to different tribes and marrying the women of those tribes. So yeah. Now, sometime in 1159 or 60, he took a fancy to a 15-year-old girl named Horlon, who had then engaged to the Mirkit leader Yehed Chilidu, Toktua's brother, and abducted her in circumstances not entirely clear. This act of grotesque responsibility set off a 15-year feud between Mongols and Mirkits. Esugei's son would thus inherit a vendetta which was none of their making, but honor and culture compared them to carry on. Could they have been practicing exogamy for genetic survival? Cross country. Some people got a cross country campaign, Chief. I'm talking about. Hey, you got to get you go from state to state. You know what I'm talking about. But yes, but to answer your question, to answer your question, I wouldn't say it's genetic survival. You can't look at it like this because of the time period. It's not about genetic survival. It's more so sometimes it's about status or I would say status as well as maybe to get alliances, political alliances and things like that. You got to remember, this is the East. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't the West. It ain't about, genetic survival. There's a bunch of us. You know what I'm talking about? There's a bunch of us living out on these steps. So it's more so about alliances, being by politics and things like that. You know, if I marry into this clan, you know what I'm saying? If I run into some trouble, you know, we all can ride on on whoever I got problems with. You know what I'm talking about? That's one way to enlarge the territory. It's not about enlarging territory because you got to remember these are nomad people. There is no territory in a sense, no markers of territory. You know, it's where we are. Where we are is our territory. No matter where we are, that's our territory. You know what I'm saying? But there's no. That's the thing about about this nomadic cultural mapping. There is no territory. There's places where they're frequent, of course, or where they stay, but they move around. You know what I'm talking about? So you can't really say where's their territory. Man, it could be this place one day, this place another. You know, wherever we move to, that's our territory. You know, it. Like I said, you can't look at it from in the Western sense where they put, you know, they stake their ground in this part of the region. No, you know what I'm talking about, because other tribes will go to that region and raid them. So you can't look at it like this our territory, ain't nobody gonna mess with it. No. You know what I'm saying? So you can't look at it as genetic survival because of the fact that there's no entrenchment from outside or foreign entities. You know what I'm saying? You know, the I guess the closest culture that they would have, or foreign culture that they would have been in with is the Jinn. That's not genetic. That's not genetic. Uh, a genetic threat because what? They're still people too. They're Jurchens. You know what I'm saying? The Jin Dynasty. They're Jurchens. You know, they're stealth people too. They're just more east. You know what I'm talking about? They're just more east. You know what I'm saying? Or the Liao. You know what I'm talking about? They're stealth people. You know what I'm saying? Unless you go further south into China. But there's no real encroachment because you have that natural barrier of the Gobi Desert and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And you don't fear nothing from the West because they ain't gonna go that far. You know what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as genetic survival. You know what I'm talking about? So they were nomadic. Yes, they were nomadic. Yeah, they were nomadic. Um, Shalom, Sarbanese. So yeah, by them being nomadic, like I said, nomadic pastoralists, you know, they move from place to place, you know what I'm talking about? So there's no onset of so-called territory, only where they probably most frequent in a sense, not in the sense where they actually stayed there for generations. No, they have to keep on moving. This is a this is a volatile place to live. So you got to keep on moving. You can just look at it like that. Volatile place to live. Anything can get you, you know. No problem. Okay. So, only a short time, her destiny had seemed so different. She had been the wife of another young warrior, Chiladu of the Merkit tribe. He had traveled to the eastern steppe to find and woo her from the Okunud, a tribe noted for the beauty of its women. Okay, so one thing you have to understand, Horlon had it set up. She, you know, basically went through a courtship process. She went through a courtship process. She got her man. She got a man, man. And you know, Chiladu was the brother of, you know, the principal Khan of the Americans. So he has that. He was a noble. You know what I'm talking about? And he put in look, homie put in the work. He went, you know, he abided by Mongol culture, you know what I'm talking about, you know, paid the bride price. He even worked with her father. You know, he stayed with them like a living son-in-law, you know, so they got to know each other and everything. And then, you know, after a certain period of time, they got married, and then he brought her back to the Americas. That was the plan. That was the plan. Okay. Now, one thing you gotta know about the acumen tribe, they're known for their beauty of women. Known for it. That's their thing. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, their women are known to be basically the wives of khans. You know what I'm talking about? We all look at as guys, sometimes when we practice exogamy or cross country campaigning, we know where the pretty girls are, okay? you know, we know where the pretty girls are. Like, there was a time I was a kid though. It ain't like this now, but there was a time like I remember like my uncles and my big cousins was like, yo, you want to see some pretty girls from the South, go to Atlanta. Man, you tell them girls that you from Chicago, they will bite at it. Man, you go down South. Man, I used to hear that. I wouldn't do that now. But another place, Cali. We all know Cali pretty is something that is way high. A Cali 10 is a New York 20. We know this. Okay. Cali, but it depends. Even there, it depends. Southern Cali, I don't know. Northern Cali, you know what I'm talking about. And then, like, by me, living down south and whatnot, if you're wanting for now being in Louisiana, if you wanted a yellow girl, if you wanted a red yellow girl, you go to Lake Charles. You go to Lake Charles for a yellow girl. For a pretty yellow girl, you go to Lake Charles. That was just hands down the spot where they were, Or then you could take it to high school. Some high schools just known for having the prettiest girls. You know what I'm talking about. Exactly, but you said that was old Atlanta. Now the banks there are prettier than the females, well, the males there. Yes, we know that. That's old Atlanta. Like I said, I was a kid when they said that. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we know, we look, when you cross country hunting and whatnot, we know where they be because we gonna be looking. That's part of being a hunter. But yeah, but she got a husband. She got a husband, but what happens? Esugei steals her from her husband. Now, because I didn't put in the slide, because in the secret history, it goes like this. You know what I'm talking about? They see, Esugei, because he goes back and get his homies. You know what I'm talking about? And then they about to go, ride on them, right? And so she tells her husband to run away. Go. He doesn't want to run. And she's like, they'll just kill you. They after me, but they'll kill you. So just go run away. And it's so poetic in the secret history. You know what I'm talking about, where she says, you're going to have a bunch of women. Name one of them, hold on. You know what I'm talking about? Name one of them, hold on. Let that one be hold on. You know what I'm saying? But take this with you. And she takes off her dress, you know what I'm talking about, and gives it to him. And for, in Mongol culture, which has her scent. So the scent is very important because you have a person's scent, it's like having a piece of their soul. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what's going on. You know what I'm talking about? So he takes that and he runs off. You know what I'm talking about? And she stays. And and she gets with Esugei, Now she had a good match. She was gonna be principal, she was gonna be the wife of a Khan, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not the principal Khan, but a Khan, right? Now she's with Esugei. And now that union is lower than what she had. Because one, Esugei is already married. And you gotta remember this is East. So in Eastern culture, the principal wife is the principal wife. Talk about the principal wife is the principal wife. That's the one that bears the name. The one that runs everything. Her children inherits everything. So she's not the main in Esugei's harem, because he does have a harem. She ain't the only one, but that does happen. But this set off a chain, like, oh, because you paid for the woman, you took her back, somebody stole her. Oh, the Americans ain't taking that, taking that down. And like I said, it started a 50-year feud. You know what I'm talking about. So let me. Sounds like a little close to Oakland. Man, yo, it is, because I knew, well, one of my best friends, she was from East Oakland. And that Darcy, she was pretty ebony doll. That's what she was. She was just like a pretty ebony doll, like just gorgeous, But all the girls I knew from Oakland to Sacktown, them girls were fine. And not only that, they even aged gracefully. It's just like, wow. It was like, yo, they just eat something. I don't know what it is, but okay. Yes. Achotiafe, it's not like Jacob or Yakub. It's not like Yakub, This is more, I would say this is more hood than Yakub in a sense, this is a little bit more hood, I'm talking about, but yeah. Yeah, it had her sense. So basically he had a piece of her soul, what I'm talking about. He had a piece of her soul. See, it's so poetic, what I'm talking about. Things like that. So yeah, so that's what happened. So she's not the principal wife, she's just basically a concubine in that sense, what I'm talking about. But yeah. So according to Stealth Position, he would have given her parents gifts and worked for them perhaps for several years before taking their daughter back to his tribe as his bride. Once married, the two had set out alone for the trek of many weeks back to his homeland. According to the secret history, she rode in a small black cart pulled by an ox or yak, and her proud husband rode beside the cart on his dun horse. Okay, if you don't know what a dun horse, it's like it's basically a type of horse. Basically, it sort of goes by color, like brownish or brownish red. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean by dun horse, if you don't know. But yeah, in the secret history, that's what it said that she rode. But yeah. So that's, like I said, that's the story. You know what I'm talking about in the secret history. That's the story. And then later, it's not said, but it's if you read, it's sort of said. Chiladu dies. I don't know how he dies. You know what I'm saying? I still don't know how he dies. But later on, he dies. I'm guessing, raiding or whatever, doing what Mongols do, you know what I'm talking about, doing what Americans do, and that's probably how he died. But other than that, I don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? In some movies, at least one that I had, it was hinted that Genghis Khan or Temujin was Chiladu's son, and that's why he sort of had a hard life, because they would say, your mother laid with American before she got with Esugei, so you're not a Mongol, you're American, and that would spur him on to beat everybody up, you know what I'm saying, because they would talk about him like, you're American, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, so yeah. But that's, like I said, that's just movie. But yeah, now, Temujin, the future Genghis Khan, was born in 1162. This is the only date that makes sense of um, of the other events in the sources. Nor is there any agreement on where he was born. One suggestion is that he was born in the valley called Gouverneur, um, while another goes for Delon, Bodog, in the Dal, 350 miles northeast of modern Ulaanbaatar, um, a small village in Kinti province, in the middle of beautiful forests, mountains, and lakes. So yeah, South Harbor. It's like your mama, your mama for, well, your mama ain't really for the streets. She just got the big belly from her husband and got stolen. But yeah, you know. So basically, but yeah, but nothing is certain on where Temujin was born. You know what I'm talking about? Um, there's really no real record, and then even if there were, um, communism, did away with all of that. You know, uh, so there's no real record besides the secret history. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, just so you know. Um, the name Temujin has puzzled scholars as um, it means blacksmith. Um, the true explanation is that Esugei named him after a Tatar chieftain, Temujin Uga, who had whom he had just captured. The idea was to transfer the chief's power to the child, but to make this effective, the man would have to be slain. The inference then is that Temujin's birth was celebrated with slaughter. So, um, Yasuge is just, like I say, some hood things going on. He raiding on Tatars, right? And so he captures a Khan called Temujin Uga. He kills him and then gives his name to to who we know, Temujin. You know what I'm talking about? And that in itself, because it's not just him in the sense, well, it's just not him. He has the name. But the weird thing also is that um the siblings um that he has, between Yasuge and his mom, all have that Timu suffix in their name. Because Hulan had 4 boys and 1 girl. They all got a Timu or suffix in their name. So I'm like, man, it just seems like there's just a bunch of disrespect going on. But yeah, he's the one that actually gets the name. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So but yeah, the name Temujin means blacksmith. You know what I'm talking about. Also, another person who has a similar name and suffix, who's famous, or famous um ruler. I just say ruler, because he's Mongol, but if he going, but famous step ruler. I'll just say it like that, because who will rule basically a Mongol kingdom is Timur the Lame. I know, right? Timur the Lame. And then Timur the Lame, because you can't look at it with modern context of him being, lame, nerdy, things like that. Timur the Lame is because he had we just say a busted leg. That means that he's lame. That's what it really comes from. He had a bad leg. So Timur the Lame, who the Westerners would call, he rode on, those, those in that area, and the Westerners would later call him Tamerlane. So that's what it comes from. You know what I'm saying? But that's another one, also another guy, who would seek out women who were related biologically biologically to Genghis Khan. That's another one. You know what I'm saying? A warrior with one leg. I wouldn't say he had one leg. One good leg. We just gonna say this. One good leg. Yeah, one good leg. And he was a guy that limped. You know what I'm talking about? He was a guy that had a limp. We just say it like that, But you wouldn't say that to his face. Because Timur the Lame would put in that work. He put in that work, you know what I'm saying, and went through expansions and whatnot. He wording some you can really, mess with, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's another one. So the verb Timur, which occurred in several Mongol words, meaning to rush headlong, to be inspired, to have a creative thought, and to even take a flight of fancy. So that's where the verb Timur comes from. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, just so you know. So now, only a few details have survived from Temujin's earliest childhood, and they do not suggest that he was highly valued by his father. His father once accidentally left him behind when they moved to another camp. The Taichu clan found him, and their leader, Targutai, the Fat Khan, took him into his own household and kept him for some time. So, like I told you, this some hood things. Apparently, the guy got left. My daddy left me. Look, the guy got left on the step, and then the Taichu's found him like, who kid is that? Man, that's one of Esugei's kids. Oh, this dude. Yo, bring little homie on. Now I don't know how long he stayed with him, but apparently they forgot about him. He was on some Home Alone on the step type stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Left him at Walmart. Yeah. left him on the hill somewhere. But yeah, he got left. You know what I'm talking about? And then you also gotta remember, he gets picked up by the Taichus. Now, you gotta think the Portuguese got beef with the Taichus, but apparently, they don't do things bad to kids, at least at a certain age. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Now, later in life, when Temujin became powerful, Targutai boasted that he had trained Temujin with the same careful attention and loving discipline that he would train a colt, a herder's most prized possession. The details and sequence are unknown, but eventually the child and his family were reunited, either because the Fat Khan returned the boy to them, or because the family joined the camp of the Fat Khan. So, as you can see, you know what I'm talking about. When Temujin, gets big, and he, gets famous and whatnot, you got to talk. Hey, I raised him. You always got that one that one family member. Yo, it was me that taught him this. So here you have, he boasting like, yeah, I taught him that. But at one point in time, now what could have happened was he could have ransomed the boy off. That's my thought. That's my theory. He probably ransomed him off like, yo, we got your son. How much you want to get him back? Because and the reason why I think about it, because it's Taichus and Portuguese. We ain't friends. We may be Mongols, my dude, but hey, I don't like y'all like that. You know, yeah. Look, your boy's unharmed. Look, look, taught him how to ride a horse and everything. Now, how much you want him back? That could have been how it went. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. But it could have been because, basically, Esugei's clan or band are like outlaws. You know what I'm talking about? That, so it could have been like that. You know what I'm talking about? Taught how to fight, how to sing, how to ride a horse. The boy can't even walk before I found him. I found the crab was about. Exactly. He probably was crab was about. What crab was that? He was probably crab was about. But yeah, I taught him all that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I talking about throat singing and everything. But yeah, man. So yeah, like I say, it's some hood things going on the step. So, as soon as practicable, he began learning the art of falconry, considered an indispensable skill for a would-be future leader. There was no education in our sense. Temujin never learned to read and write, and the later great emperor, Genghis Khan, remained illiterate. Now, here you have a guy, who would, create laws and everything, you know what I'm talking about, and correspondence, but he never learned to read and write. But that was like a lot of, Western kings too. They didn't know how to read and write either. Until we nope. But but yeah, he didn't know how to read and write. But then you have to ask yourself, well, what do you mean by that? In the sense that, did the Mongols have their own writing script and things like that? You know what I'm saying? Now I know that they do now, but at the time of Genghis Khan, did they actually have a written script? You know what I'm talking about? Or did they mean that he did not know how to read and write, in the sense of Chinese writing style? Because you got to remember that that the Mongols dealt with the Jin and the Liao. Of course, these dynasties have written language and whatnot. So because you already come from a fragmented people, you know what I'm saying, and different tribes, you can't say that you have a universal writing script that everybody adheres to or agrees upon. So you got to ask yourself, yes, he probably couldn't read or write because his culture didn't have such things or didn't need them. And then the dominant culture or the dominant society that they probably traded with or allied with at one point in time and fought with, you know what I'm saying, you couldn't get a bunch of correspondents to learn how to really read and write their own language anyway. So it brings up a bunch of questions, you know what I'm talking about? But yeah. So, but the relationship that was most important to Temujin at this time was with the young aristocrat of the Jatarak clan named Jamaka. He and Jamaka played knucklebones together, and through their paths later diverged. Both remembered the happy days of their childhood. So Jamaka, is a noble, and he will become a leader, among the steppe people. But as I said like 2 strongs ago, Temujin and Jamaka are related because they come from, well, not really, but they come from the same. They come from the same bloodline in a sense, but um, but not. But they are related among the Mongol lineage. It's just that Jamaica has the more greater lineage, and Temujin does not. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, but they play knucklebones. Knucklebone is a game. You sort of see it in Marco Polo. I was trying to find a video where they actually play knucklebones, but I couldn't find one. But yeah, man, no. The relationship among the Mongols was meant to unite clans, sub-tribes, and even different tribes and nations, and was thus a political affair. Unlike brotherhood among, say, the Scythians or Vikings, which was a personal bond between individual warriors. So, sound like shooting craps. In a sense, if you look at it, it looked like some dice. So it is dice play in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about basketball. It is some dice play going on. But if you think like it's like that, it's not. It's like the bones are lined up, and then you throw you throw something like a dice, and then you pick it. It's weird. But yeah, like I said, it's some dice playing going on. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, as you can see from a Western standpoint, brotherhood is just individual. I'm your blood brother, you're my blood brother. You know what I'm saying? But that's on an individual basis. But for the Mongols, it's a more bigger thing because it politically unites clans or sub tribes. You know what I'm talking about? So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. You don't become an under to anybody. That's why I said blood of my blood. But you know what I'm saying? Blood brotherhood is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because not only are you allying yourself to this individual, you are also allying your clan or your tribe with this individual. So you can't take that lightly. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. So Mongols married early, and the earliest possible engagement of um, song added to the prestige of family and clan of a son. The traditional tribe for Mongols intermarried was the Ungyirat of southeastern Mongolia. And it says Ungyirat, we're still talking about the same clan that Horlun comes from. Because in the secret history, Esugei and like when Genghis Khan is about 9, he goes with his father to find a wife, and so they go among his they go to find his mother's clan so they can find him a wife. So at 9 years old, we getting you married. We marry you off. 9, 10, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, at that, look, you gotta marry, homie. You gotta get you out the house. But yeah, or the garret. You gotta get you out the garret, pimp. You gotta go marry. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Now the Ongirad were divided into two main clans: the Nurgan and the Boskor. Although the Nurgan were usually considered the more important branch of the Ongirads, it was the Boskers and their chief Daisichan with whom they would be dealing with. So they're going, like I say, to find Temujin, the wife, right? And so they meet, the chief of the Boskers, Daisichan. Now, in some, it's it's hinted, depending on what you read, that Dyson Chan didn't want Temujin marrying Borte, which is um, the woman that is they're seeking to betroth Temujin to, because he thought less of, Esugei and things like that. So he tried to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now some fathers says, yeah, I hear you, but I'm not too sure about this. And then it is said that, it wasn't until Daisichin's son took a liking to Temujin and was like, Dad, you need to, let her marry him. Because he wasn't, really sold on the we say the dowry or the bride price, that they was willing to pay or whatever. He's like, I'm not sold on that. You know what I'm talking about? And or whatever. So because of his son, you know what I'm talking about? Because of his son, he reluctantly says yes. And so at this time, like we see with Yehed Chiladu, Temujin becomes the living son-in-law, with Daisichin and Borte, right? So that's what's going on. They get you, they get you married, and then you gotta live with them for a minute. You gotta live with them for a couple of years. You know what I'm talking about? You somebody else's problem. But you're gonna be working, for basically for the Khan, for Daisichin. You know what I'm saying? And which, Temujin does. He draws or basically wrestles for Daisichin. Now, when Temujin was about 12, word came that Esugei was dead. It seemed that on one of his raids, he encountered a large party of Tatars. The sides were evenly matched, and the outcome of armed combat would have been uncertain. The Tatars, however, had recognized one of their old enemies and baited the trap. So we about to get into some hood stuff again, because this happens after he leaves Temujin with Borte's family. You know what I'm talking about? So, since the two sides had met on Tatar territory, they invited the Mongol chieftain and his men to a great banquet. But to put slow acting but slow acting poison in his food. The possibility of being poisoned was ever present in the nightmare world of the steppe. But this had to be balanced against the terrible insult that would have been offered the Tatars if Esugei had refused their hospitality. So, like I said, this about to be some hood things. And when things that you do, in your past come back to haunt you, when you get that return on investments, that ROI in a sense. But the streets don't forget. I'm talking about these steppe streets don't forget. I'm talking about they got a long memory. I'm talking about. But yeah, hey little man, your daddy got jumped. Well, he didn't get jumped. I'm talking about. But we gonna get into it. Right? Okay. So if you want to watch, the clip, because this clip comes from the movie Mongol, right? In it you have the links in the description, but in it you have Temujin actually with Esugei when this happens. But I'm about to give you the the hood version, you know what I'm talking about. But they had to fight too. No, no, they had to get married. Well, first they didn't get married. First, what happened was that they get betrothed. We just say it like that. They get betrothed, and then he has to work for her father for a certain amount of years, which they determine. Maybe we'll say 4 or 5 years. He has to work for her father for 4 or 5 years, and then he marries her. or they officially having a ceremony, 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 years after, and then he brings her back, to his tribe or his clan. You know what I'm talking about? It's like I say, it's a living son-in-law. You know what I'm saying? Basically, also the reason for this is so the couple can get to know each other, see if you like them or not. But you don't take like 9 to 12 months. You just take 4 or 5 years. But I mean, you're 9 years old. But you take 4 or 5 years. See if you like the guy or not. And then, if you like him and he does good work, we marry you off to him. So, now that I'm said all that, okay, let me get into the hood story. The hood version, right? Okay. Because this is also a little bit in the secret history. So, but I'm going to be paraphrasing. A little bit. So, Esugei and his crew, his gang, you know what I'm talking about, they come up, the Tatars are busy partying. They got the trap, they got the drill banging in the background. Yeah, they get it, right? The Tatars are getting it. And then here comes Esugei, right? He come in with, infiltrating, like, cousin, hey, cousin, he see the party, he want to party too. So he comes in like, hey, what's up, cousin? Don't you know? Cause I ain't seen you in so long, So he infiltrating with his crew, right? But talking about what's that living son-in-law system also, so father could ensure the son-in-law was competent in his manly duties. 9 years old, it's not difficult to provide training and guidance if need be. Yeah. It's also to provide, to see how he works. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, for sure. Yes, Master Manager. Also that, see how he works. I would also say, because there's things also to teach him ways of the tribe. I will also say that. Yeah, kinfolk. You my favorite. Yeah, it's like that. He's like, cousin, what's up, cousin? So before I got it wrong, so you're like, cousin. Oh man, like, oh come on, you got that one. Oh come on, they don't know you, but they're like, oh okay, come on, party with us. Hey yo, this is cousin from woo 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 woo. So they party and whatnot, and then there's that one, that few, and he's like, see this foreign dude, this one that ain't no dang on Tatar, and you like, he partying among us. He like, hey yo, ain't that Mongol? I can't cut, but ain't that from them Portuguese? Yo, that's him right there. Ain't that him that was talking all that stuff? He ain't even one that was talking about he smoked Temujin packs and whatnot, and killed Temujin and gave his son his name, and then gave all his. Yo, that is him. Yo, everybody, we about to run them pockets, and we about to run this fade right now. Yo, everybody, we about to sell this today, and you got that one cheat that's like, nah, G, nah. Let them party. What you mean let them party? No, we about to do this right now. I ain't forgot that. We ain't forgot that. You ain't gonna hurt me. You forgot that. We ain't forgot this. We about to get, look, nah, let him party. And we gonna send him home. Send him home? What you talking about? Come on. Yo, he right there. Let's go get him. Like, no, he got his gang, we got our gang. It's gonna come to a stalemate. They on our territory, right? Right. Okay. So this is what we gonna do. Invite the men and send them home. But when we send them home, he gonna be 10 toes up. You know what I'm talking about? Already. Yo, offer him some drink, offer him some food. Spike that. Poison, Put in this food, you know what I'm talking about? Bring it over to him. He can't refuse. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, well, Jacob. In a sense, you know, but it's sort of it ain't like you can't say it like that because of the simple fact that they know this dude. You know what I'm talking about? He mad disrespectful, and they know who he who he clicked up with. You know what I'm saying? So they know this guy. They're like, oh, we know him. You know what I'm saying? You know. Yo, call Whisper said, hello, he's struck and Johnny stab a lot. Let's chop this fool up. It's like that, but it's like, yo, man, you really, being mad disrespectful, because that's what he did. He infiltrated, like he was one of them, and it was like, oh, we know who you is. You ain't one of us. He actually played like he was one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to party. you know, you know. But yeah, man, you know what I'm talking about. You sort of can't say it's the same thing. You can use that as an example, But this, like I said, this is some hood stuff. This is somebody outside the game coming in trying to party. They ain't from where you from, and but they acting like you forgot what they did. You know what I'm talking about. You killed one of our cons, and then you name one of your kids his name, basically giving him his power. Nah, son, we about to handle this. We about to handle this today. And that's what happens. That's how he gets poisoned. But also, because this is in the secret history, what happens is that he goes to one of his Esugei, he goes to one of his captains. I just say captains. You know what I'm talking about? Millie rocking with the ops. You're like, hey, yo, who? It's like, yo, what? You think the ops can put? Look, ain't that the ops right there trying to pull up on us and flex? Oh no, we about to have this. We took tars around this. You know what I'm talking about? We don't play that. Do we look like some dang old Americans? No, we don't play that. And they don't play that. He gonna know you messed with the wrong ones. you know. Because you also gotta remember that some of these vendettas, you know what I'm talking about, was an excuse to just raid and kill people. Raid on somebody. Yo, ain't that the same? Yo, we about to go raid on them, later on. So people had a long memory, tribes had a long memory for reprisals or revenge, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. But as he's dying, he goes to one of those captains and he says, supposedly, take care of my son Temujin. Mind you, Temujin's not next in line because of the simple fact that Esugei already has a principal wife, and you would say legitimate heir children already, So it's in the secret history, but you have to look at it like propaganda in the sense, he's not the heir apparent, which is also going to be an issue with his mother in a sense, because with Esugei dead, sort of the same thing with Hebrew culture. The son died. If one brother died, the other brother got to take his wife. That was supposed to go down, right? Same thing in a sense, but nobody wanted her along. And her kids. Nobody wanted her or her kids because she had 5 of them. So none of Esugei's brothers took on the responsibility to say, okay, y'all come under my gear or whatever. They said no. No. And also at this time, those that were loyal or allied with Esugei, they all left. They like, okay, homie dead, man, let's go somewhere else. And left. They literally left this family. There was no really like everybody left. The Taichus left everybody to go to other clans or other sub tribes of the Mongols. They left. You know what I'm talking about? So because none of the brothers wanted her, then it befell Yasugei's eldest son to take Holon and marry her. But that didn't go down because by this time, Temujin came back and he already had an issue with his brothers, his oldest brothers. And because of that, he ends up killing his older brother, which his mother, him and his brother, they kill him. And Holon has an issue with it and yells at him like, why would y'all do something so stupid? You know what I'm saying? Y'all are family, y'all brothers, and things like that. So that happens. You know what I'm talking about? But as you can see, that nobody want Holon. But then also, even in the secret history, she's basically the matriarch of this family. You know what I'm talking about? On this step, and they're alone. Basically, ain't nothing but women and kids. Women and kids, and then you gotta fend off attackers and things like that when you have no covering. Just say it like that. You have no covering, so anything can happen to y'all, which sort of does in a sense, So I'm gonna play a little video clip right here. Okay, so that was just a small video of more horse archery, you know what I'm talking about. But so Esugei dies, right? And so, Temujin has to cut his, basically his living son-in-law tenure down, you know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, it's a bitch. Exactly, that little kid too. You know what I'm talking about? So he has to go back, and there's just chaos. Everybody's leaving. Nobody's loyal to Esugei. Some hood things. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Exactly. So the Yafe makes you wonder what. Well, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say this. Women in it, bro. But yeah, nope. Grow up. Anybody. Now that song comes to my mind. Okay, you don't need to know the song. I'm not about to tell you, but it's a New Orleans song. So if you're from there, you know which one I'm talking about. But yeah. Anyway, so he goes back. There's chaos and whatnot, and he ends up getting enslaved. Yes, master. I mean, like it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Yes, yes, yes. It does make you wonder. Which if we talking, horses and shooting, yeah, girls can do it, and they got the thighs. This is where thick thighs saves lives should come in. Thick thighs protects. That should be an example, I'm just saying like that. But yeah, he ends up getting enslaved for a time, for a couple of years. You know what I'm talking about? Now he will get, he will escape, but he ends up getting enslaved. You know what I'm talking about? Which, because he got enslaved and going through all these problems with his family and whatnot, it sort of becomes an issue with his betrothal because of the years. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, you know, but we'll get into that next strong. You know what I'm talking about? So join us next strong when we will continue with the last installment, Blood of My Blood, which we will be ending off the series with Blood of My Blood, but this last part of Blood of My Blood. And we'll be talking about still be talking about how old is Temujin at this point? 12. And not only that, it depends on who says. You know what I'm talking about? It depends on who says. You know what I'm talking about? Some say, 10. Like I said, it depends. It depends on the writer, depends on the scholar at the moment. You really don't know. You really don't know, because like I say, it's sort of oral at the same time written, but there's not a lot of scholarly writing, you know what I'm talking about. But like I say, you can't say he's an adolescent once he gets enslaved and things like that. He's an adolescent. You know what I'm talking about. We know that, but as far as solid age, they don't even know his birthday. They don't even know his birthday, his birth year. I can't really tell you. Maybe he was 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll just say adolescence. But yeah. But we will get into his marriage to Borte. We'll also get into I'm not doing any battles. Too many. There's too many. We'll get into a few, but not a lot. But we're just gonna keep on with the relationship aspect of it. You know what I'm talking about? And reset. Yeah, we'll get into the relationship aspect. Keep on going with that. And yeah, that's what we go. That's where we going with it. Well, remember that tomorrow we have ANU Fellowship. Also, Ayo, Chief then came out with some bangers. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Chief then came out with some bangers on Chief Y'all podcast. He talks about the Jezebel spirit. You know what I'm talking about? Parts 1, 2, and 3. And when Chief was because he's talking about it, a movie I thought of. Cause I know Chief probably saw this movie when he was young, man. Switchblade Sisters. I literally thought of that movie when he was talking about like Switchblade Sisters. It's a female girl gang movie. It's in the 70s. It's crazy, but really really feministic and whatnot. It's crazy though. But it's about a female gang that calls themselves later on, but calls themselves the Jezebels. But I was like, but yeah, but also, we got, ANU movie night, you know what I'm talking about, which I can't wait for because I like Korean movies. Though I be on the gangster, the gangster Korean movies side of the game, or the historic movies side of the game, from Outlaws to Nameless Gangster to Friend 1 and 2 to Dago, New World, the Gangster, the Cop, and the Devil, Unstoppable, Paid in Blood. But Chief is right on when he talks about though so much happens in with silence, man, and those montages and the music. Oh my goodness, it depends. Like there's this one movie, like this one gangster movie I love, like Gangnam Blues, right? It had like the trailer used to play this song, and the song was a banger. And I used to think it was a Korean song, only to find out it was like a 60s Filipino song. But the way they montaged that song, it was just banging the whole song. Like, this movie gonna be good. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. So also don't forget that we got Red Rap. And we doing it in North Carolina, in Raleigh, North Carolina. So you got to look out for that. You know what I'm talking about? Also register for the June 2023 retreat that's going on in New Orleans. You know how we do down in New Orleans, So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I remember the story of Ming Lan just about to go. Hold on. Messman, there's the principal wife, and then there's the second wife, or is no? Minglan's mom should have been a third wife. She should be the second wife. But that chick, well, yes, but I will also say the principal wife also was a Jezebel too. She also was a Jezebel because she wanted to run things too. The difference is he didn't like her. He didn't like her like that. Like you could tell he had the Ahab spirit, for the number 2 wife, but for the principal wife, nah, he ain't going. He ain't going. Okay, continue stepmother. Oh, that chick too. Okay, continue. Okay, yeah. Well, there's a bunch of Jezebels in that damn movie. But yeah, Ming Lan's mother-in-law, the number 2 wife, in Ming Lan's father's house, the principal wife in his father's life. Like the only cool woman was Dago grandmother. Because she had the game. But yeah, Gutinian's mother-in-law, his baby mama. His baby mama was cold. His baby mama. But yeah. I know you like, his baby mama? Yes, his baby mama. Yeah, all the flavors of Jezebel. Yeah, Jezebel's. But in Eastern television, Asian television, if from Korea to China, at least, because I ain't watched a lot of Southeast television. But in Korea and China, oh, you gonna see some Jezebels, especially when it comes to the royal harem. Oh my goodness, you gonna see a bunch of Jezebels, and they all got their little agenda, because they all trying to rule in some shape, form, or fashion. Ooh, like should I talk about it? Like okay, like there's a TV show I like. It has a part one. I finished part one, but it's called Qing Dynasty, basically about Qin Shi and in it, his mother tries to rule through him, but his mother is so Jezebel, right? Because this chick tries to son her son, but at the same dang on time, right? She she's piping a eunuch who ain't a eunuch. he still got he still got his stuff, his yin and yang, his yang. He still got his yin yang. I ain't heard that word in a long time, yin yang. But he still got the yin yang, right? So while, her son is sort of like ruling the country and going through all these insurrections and stuff, this chick in her own harem is piping the eunuch and had 2 kids with this dude, and nobody knew. and then they end up having an insurrection against Qin Shi, which he quells. He finds out, oh, you had 3 kids by this dude? Oh. And then y'all act like y'all got some type of royal inheritance because the queen's your mom and your father is trying to push for that, and that's why he's in open rebellion. It ain't going down, pimp. Oh man. And then who ends up, well, does he tell him? Nah, I don't think he tells on him. But he knew because he set it up. But yeah, his baby mama was the psychiatrist. Yes, she was. She was crazy. And she didn't stop there. Man, that girl, they all kept on fighting. They all was trying to run phase on Ming Lan, but yeah, man. They covered the story in the Kingdom manga. Exactly. It's the same story. I mean, that is it actually happened in history with Qin Shi. His mom really did, pull an insurrection, and she was, well, you want to say she was for the streets? But for the royal streets, for the royal streets. But want to say she was for the royal streets, but yeah, man, what masculinity is right. It's in the manga called Kingdom, which is Kingdom is long, but it's so good. I got seen the movie. Well, I got the movie and seen the anime. Like the first season is CG, but then they go to basically drawing it instead of going CG because the CG was horrible. But it was a good it's a good manga. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man. but I was thinking of another one that I saw that was like a male Jezebel movie because I didn't want to give like Minister Society. you know. But there are a few. There are a few on that on that game. You know, where you see that. But there was one like I just watched, and I was like, "Yo," but I can't remember it. But yeah, man. So check that out. You know, parts 1, 2, and 3. Also, make sure that you rate um Chief Yuya podcast because you can. You can rate on iTunes and now you can rate on Spotify. Yeah. So also that Red Rap Midday Affirmative. Also, make sure I ain't leaving nothing out. So yeah, I can't wait for the for the movie night. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man. So give thanks everybody, and I will see y'all next round. So I appreciate y'all and have a good rest of your strong. You know what I'm talking about? Peace.